In this video, I'm gonna do a review and talk about the features of the Shure SM7b Cardioid Vocal Mic, which is the standard in podcast miking and really a great mic for vocals and singing. I'm also gonna give you some comparisons between the SM7b and the SM58 and the SM57 and do some talking and some singing in context with a music track for you musicians out there. If you'd like to jump forward to the part where I do the sound demo, the timestamp is in the description, so just click that and go check it out. Is this really worth the money, or is a cheap vocal mic just as good? Because this thing costs about $400, and these mics, you know, the SM57, 58, they're more in the $100 range, and you can even buy them for $50. And it's the same brand, Shure, and so, you know, they're also dynamic mics. These are dynamic mics. This is technically a dynamic mic. It's just really big and really nice. Is it worth the extra cost? And I would say it depends on your application. This mic was made famous by Michael Jackson. He used it on the Thriller record for some vocals. So this mic is pretty unique. I have not seen any other mic like this where it mounts like that, and then the XLR is not on the mic body itself. It's detached. You can see I think it's welded there onto the mic mount. It's made really for vocal broadcast. It has this nice, I'm not going to twist them, but you can tighten and loosen that, and you can basically, you know, be a radio DJ or whatever. It's nice for speaking like that. You can really lean it up and down, and the cord's kind of out of the way. It's really nice for that. They get around that with this wire. They've soldered that in. Part of the reason they do that is so they can do this on the back. You need a little screwdriver to do this, but you can see this is the frequency response. Right now it's flat, okay? If I push that button down, now I have a high pass filter, so that's rolling off the low end, which is pretty useful because a lot of time when you're talking and singing, you don't really want the low end. I'm not sure where it rolls, probably somewhere between 60 to 80. But now if I push that one up, that gives me a mid-range boost. So that's the more typical frequency in which we speak. So that's, again, also very useful for singing and speaking, that we can boost the mid-range frequencies and cut the lows to make it more applicable for what we want to do. Or we could do one or the other. You know, we could have it's kind of tricky to do these, but we could have the low end preserved and boost the mid-range, or vice versa. Or we could have it totally flat, and that's generally where I keep it at because I do my processing after the fact, but I use it for music. So if you're using this for podcast, you might leave it set like that. You might roll the low off, then you don't have to do editing in post. But for music, I do editing in post anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. So I want the option to have the flat frequency curve. The SM7b comes with this foam pop filter thingy that goes on the mic, which again is really great for vocals. It's almost like this thing was designed to be used for vocals. The pop filter helps plosives, they call them, you know, p and b, from distorting the signal. Sometimes when you do a p or a b sound, it will pop the signal, will go too high. So putting some foam in front of that actually reduces that and evens out the recording or the broadcast a little better. So that is nice, and I lost it, but it comes with an even bigger one. I noticed that my foam is starting to wear away a little, so I'm sure you can buy replacement ones for it. But I've had this for 10 years, so you know that's to be expected. So one thing about this is the pickup pattern on it is a cardioid, and cardio sounds like heart, and that's because if you look at it, I'll throw an image right here. It's like a heart shape. So what that means is it accepts sound from the front and from the sides, but it rejects it from the back. So that's again also very useful in a vocal application. If you're talking into the front of it, it's not picking up any sound that's coming here from the back. It's picking up only, you know, so you can talk like that. You can talk from the side, you can talk from the front, but anything on the back, any external noise or instruments or anything going on, AC or heater noises and mechanical noises, gets rejected by the back, which is really great for a vocal mic. And that's a good segue into these other mics, which also happen to be cardioid pickup patterns. The most famous of which is the Shure SM58, and this is a standard vocal mic, and then this is a standard instrument mic, the SM57. And they're pretty much the same technology, and let me show you a little trick. If you take the windscreen off for singing, you know, if you take this little head off the mic, guess what you're left with? Pretty much the same thing. It's pretty much the same technology. So these mics are pretty even. This one is better for singing because of this little pop filter windscreen bobble head thingy. So these also are both cardioid pickup patterns. But I think this one, the 57, is better for instruments because it's more directional. When singing into this, I have to really get right on it or it doesn't pick it up. Whereas this or the SM7b are made more for vocals, so you have a little more leeway to get off the mic and still have it pick up your voice. Let me talk about the signal chain. So I got the SM7b going into this Yamaha MG06X, which I did a whole video about. Check it out here. And that goes into the SSL X-Logic channel, to the to the Lynx Aurora, and then into the computer. So that's the signal chain. I have the SSL channel set pretty clean, and one of the things you'll notice about the SM7b is it is very low gain. If you notice that my voice is pretty quiet right now because I don't have enough juice. I don't have enough gain. So it takes a lot of, now you hear it's better. It takes a lot of gain for this mic. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is that you really want to have enough preamp juice to drive this microphone because it is extremely low gain, and it's well known. You know, do a Google search about that. It is well known that it takes a lot of gain to get this mic up to a good level for speech and singing. So it's not a problem if you have a professional microphone preamplifier or a good mixer or so forth. But if you have a cheaper one, the thing is, any preamp you get is going to have enough gain to drive it. But the problem is, not all preamps are created the same. So if you have a crappy preamp driven hard, it's not going to sound pleasing. If you have great preamps, like, you know, studio quality, like what I got, then it's fine. You can put gain in and it sounds great. But if you have, you know, one, I'm not going to name names, but if you have a lesser manufacturer of cheap quality, well, you know, once you start driving that gain, you might get hiss and distortion, and it might not be the best gear. So that's one thing to keep in mind is, you know, what's the weak link in your signal chain? If you have an amazing microphone but a crappy preamp and a crappy interface, what's the point? Why'd you put, maybe you might do better to spread your budget with, you know, something more budget like this, so you can put some extra budget into a nicer preamp and then later on upgrade to this mic. See what I'm saying? It sounds great. So let's jump into the sounds, and I will talk through all three mics, and I will sing to one of my tracks with all three mics so you can hear it in context more too.
Now tomorrow won't come, but just won't wait. Been looking for love, but found it too late. Well, I've been there too, I live with the memory. Now tomorrow won't come, but just won't wait. Been looking for love, but found it too late. I've been there too. Now tomorrow won't come, but just won't wait. Been looking for love, but found it too late. Well, I've been there too.
That was some examples of singing with the SM7b. Really great mic for recording vocals of any kind, whether it's speech, singing, anything. I think you could even use this on trumpets, saxophones, horns, kick drums for kind of a lo-fi sound, percussion for a goofy sound. I've tried recording guitar amps and acoustic guitars, like electric and acoustic guitars. It doesn't do as well on that. It's really for speech. This is what it's for. I'm like eating foam. Maybe I need to get a replacement foam for this. So one thing about the SM7b, and one of the reasons I don't use it, is when I started doing videos, it gets right in your face. It kind of obscures your face. And so for that reason, you see a lot of people using it off to the side like that, which it's still, because like I said, it's a cardioid pickup pattern. So you can see I'm talking right into the side of it, and it still picks up almost as well as it does from the front. And like I said, see, now from the back, it rejects. You don't hear my voice as much there, and now from the side. So you keep that in mind, because I use it for vocal performance and singing. So it's kind of hard to like sing like this. So, and when it's like this, camera's like, you know, it obscures the face and the emotion of the performance. So for that reason, I use a smaller mic sometimes, or I use a different mic. If you're, you know, podcasting and talking, it's perfect, you know, for that. Let's jump into the other mics and let's demo some vocals. Okay, so the first thing I didn't change the gain at all, and you can tell that this SM58 is way hotter. See, I had to hold it way out here to get the same level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the gain down, actually. And so that's, like I was talking before, the SM7b is an extremely low gain microphone, and this is a higher gain, so it will tolerate cheaper preamps better. So for that reason, it might be better if you're on a budget. This is also a world's standard quality vocal microphone. I think the Chili Peppers did some albums just with this vocal mic. And there you can use this on a recording. I am right now. It's fine, and I'll do some singing on it in a second. And it's a really great vocal mic, and it's a third of the price. Let's hear the SM57. The SM57 is not as good for vocals. It's sold as an instrument mic, so the main application of this mic is to put it on your electric guitar speaker, basically. And see, if I talk from the side, it does kind of drop out. It's not as good. You can see I really have to get right on it to get it to sound like the SM58. See, if I talk from the sides, even if I'm a little back of it, see, even if I'm not right on it, it's not as strong and as clear as the 58. Here, I'll show you with the 58 what I mean. You'll hear. With the 58, see, I can be well off the mic, and because of this little grill thingy, it's a lot more forgiving than the 57. It's a better choice for vocal mic. It's just also not as comfortable because you have to talk like right there. You have to keep the thing on your mouth. Basically, you have to kiss it. So I wouldn't buy the SM57 for vocals specifically. I would buy it just because you should have one, because every studio in the world has one. But if you're looking for a vocal mic for podcasting or for singing and music, I would go with one of the other two. And, this is more of the budget option, but it's the world standard. And the great thing about these is you can drop them and they're like indestructible. I've had this one for like maybe 15 years. Look at all the dents in it. And it still works perfectly. The more premium option and the more posh buy would be this SM7b. And I would say if you have the money, it's worth it. It's great. And I've recorded a lot of vocals and videos with it, and you will too. If you're more on a budget and money is a limitation and you have to think about speakers and preamps and interface as well as a microphone, you might do well with this. Go for this. Made in Mexico. I didn't notice that before. I'll have links in the description for all these microphones in case you want to buy them, and I'll get a small commission. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please smash the like button for that YouTube algorithm to help the channel out. If you like videos like this, content like this, I roll out 1 or 2 videos a week. Please subscribe to the channel and show your love. I really appreciate it. So keep singing, keep talking, keep SM7 being, and I'm sure you'll do fine.